Okay, guys, welcome back to the If I'm Being Honest podcast. It's your host, Dana. Today's episode, guys, we're doing something different. If you don't know me and I'm addicted to football, then, well, let me let y'all know I love football. So last week was the first week on the playoffs, the wild card weekend. So basically, if I'm being honest, the wild card weekend was crazy. It was crazy, and we're gonna talk about it. So on the panel today, the homeboy, his name is Jeremiah, guys. Say what's up.
What's up?
Okay, so first things first, let's get into it. Please let the people know who your team is. Let them know who your team is
I
because
rep the Seattle Seahawks, my favorite team since I was born.
unfortunately, I can't even say he has no taste because we're gonna talk about what happened with the Seahawks this season. So my team is the 49ers, so rivalry is already there. Um so yeah, let's get straight into it for the wild card weekend. First things first, who was in the playoffs that you didn't predict, like that you never saw coming?
Me personally, I didn't predict the Patriots in the playoffs at all, especially to see them at the 2 seed. It's really surprising to me.
I mean, Drake May, man. Drake May. Drake May.
Yeah.
I
Like,
also didn't expect to see you guys in the playoffs at all. I mean, granted, we all knew y'all team was gonna get better when you got rid of Geno Smith, but like I was not expecting Sam Darnold to do anything of that caliber. Like my standards were very low. Honestly, I remember having a conversation with you and um, I was like, nah, Sam Darnold about to show his real true colors. He's finna fall off. Just wait for it. And he never did. Um, he never did. I'm so mad.
gotta
Uh,
believe. Gotta believe.
no, talking about some he's gonna lead us to the promised land. No, bro.
Am I wrong?
Uh, we'll
One
see.
seed Seahawks. That's what you're talking to.
We'll see. Because anyways, um, the Bears as well because we're gonna
Yeah.
get into Caleb Williams because nobody saw that coming. Chicago was lit, especially after they beat their rivals twice. Please, that's
Ever
crazy.
since they got the Pope, they've been winning. It's holy
The
ground
Pope,
right there.
the Pope is tragic. Um, so then on the flip side, who's not in the playoffs that you did expect to be in the playoffs?
Funny enough, the Lions.
Man, Jared Goff. He screwed me over so many times during the regular season. I don't even want to talk about it.
I thought Jameer Gibbs was gonna take him. I really did.
And here they are, nowhere to be found. Same thing with the Ravens. Like Lamar, his injury took him out. The whole team crumbled immediately. The
With the
whole team.
firing of Jim Harbaugh,
Yeah,
it's a lot to take out.
man. And then I saw their team getting increasingly better after they put Justin in there, the backup to the backup. But like it's just not Lamar. And then even when Lamar came back, it just wasn't the same. And I really hope that next year, he really takes some time and they lock in and they get back to the peak of the Ravens that they was last year, before they lost to the Bills and my GOAT Josh Allen. But like I really wanted to see them in the playoffs this year, and that's tragic.
We'll have to see. They have to get a new coach and everything.
Yeah, their whole team needs a lot of reconstruction. A lot. That's the big theme for a lot of teams this year is the defensive coordinators, the head coach. Like everybody is like we're gonna talk about it about people that literally got forced into retirement, but we're not gonna talk about it right now. Obviously, the elephant in the room, the Chiefs didn't make it to the playoffs. What's your words on that?
The devil magic is gone. That,
Man,
that's
after they broke the streak,
after winning consecutive close games off of insane plays like a blocked field goal last year. I
hmm
think it was the craziest PI call ever. It, it's finally amazing to see that this year they didn't win any single of those closing games. And then,
yeah,
as I never wish on a player's injury, it's really sad to see Patrick Mahomes get injured towards the final end of the season,
yeah.
which definitely ended it all.
They had no
Yeah.
chance after he got injured. But honestly, Patrick Mahomes but even before he got injured, like we all know, the regular season it matters, but it don't really matter. I mean, people don't lock in until later in the season in the playoffs. But I just even saw it coming. Like I remember when they had the the game with the Bills, right? And we all know
Hmm.
that Josh Allen beats Patrick Mahomes 9 times out of 10 during the regular season, but not during the playoffs. We all know that. So we all expected it to happen. But at the same time, though, like the way Patrick was playing, it just I just saw it coming that they wasn't making it to the playoffs. I predicted it in the beginning of the season. So I mean, yeah, I predicted it.
I didn't. I didn't. I'll admit, I definitely thought they were getting in there.
Nah, me too. But actually, not really though. But I thought they was gonna make it in there simply just because of regular routines. But I was hoping that they wasn't. But I really definitely did not
New
want to see them
era.
injured.
It's crazy. It's
So that's
getting.
how it was last year. I wanted the Eagles to win last year just because I just was hating on the Chiefs.
I think everyone wanted the Eagles to win last year.
And then they fell off. But we're gonna talk about that later, chat. Let's get into MVP candidates. Well, who's on your list?
For me, honestly, even though they are a rival, I would have to say Matthew Stafford is the MVP for this season.
Matthew Stafford, man. Can we pull up his stats real quick? Hold on.
I just have to. Even though a lot
Matthew Stafford, 300 average yards.
yeah, it's listen, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. He's just he's just so good. And then he had Puka Nakua,
The
4,007
magic, the Puka magic. And then he got injured,
46
came back, and then
touchdowns.
picked up like it never even happened. I was shocked.
And a
But
lot of people like to knock him down because majority of his touchdowns are in the end zone. Like I think he has like
yeah.
15 touchdowns in the end zone. But I
Mhm.
don't understand why that's so bad. He's getting touchdowns.
Which is
That's a stat you want. It's
his completion rates, bro. I whoa, just wow.
like 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. And mind you, the
8 interceptions.
we see
He's
Stafford
right.
like this, he won a Super Bowl.
Mind you, well, no. Only thing I want to point out though, that I'm looking at his breakdown game by game record. The only game where he did not incredibly bad, but incredibly bad was against your Seahawks. He threw 130 yards.
I wonder why.
Don't want to talk about it. Anyways, but I had to give you your flowers real quick. But
Appreciate it. That's my team right there.
oh my gosh, please don't let me pull up Stan Darnold's rates. But anyways, also candidates Drake May. We gotta talk about him. He's in there. Even though it is like possible that he's gonna crumble next week, and we're gonna talk about the bracket later on in this episode. Because man, but hopefully he doesn't crumble because I really did want to see him succeed. But I don't know. And then players also, offensive players that are good for MVP. I'm gonna let you talk about your guy JSN. I hate the Falcons with a burning passion, so I'm gonna let you talk about Bijan. So I'm gonna just jump into Puka, his magic with Matthew Stafford. If it's not one, it's the other. His name was everywhere, like you said. He came back from injury, and it was like nothing ever happened.
Exactly.
Then my team, we gotta have CMC. Like you said the other day, that man. He's a running back. He's a wide receiver. He's a anything that needs to be done. Like it's his season, man. And granted, rightfully so, because they needed to make him play out his contract because he was literally gone for like all of last season. So now that we got him back, they was making him run that ball. They was making him have his
He showed up, and that's something you have to call out for. Like I said with JSN, we expected something to happen, especially with the coming of a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted JSN to prove that he deserved that wide receiver one spot. And hey,
Yeah.
offensive player of the year, I think that's proving enough. I say Bijan because he has 2,000 scrimmage yards.
Mm-hmm.
2,200 scrimmage yards from both receiving and rushing on the Falcons, a team that's historically has bad offensive coordinators, bad head coaches. I think Bijan deserves his flowers.
Yeah. Even though his magic alone is not enough to save their team that has been dead,
Definitely not.
you definitely need to respect what he did because I can't even lie. I don't even like the Falcons. I will bet against them every single time I get. But I can't deny the magic that he did, honestly. And what you said, you would put him above everybody else on this list, which is crazy.
No, I wouldn't put him above everyone else. I just think he's like I think just because he has proven like he has better stats than CMC, I'll put him above him. But like Puka
So
Nakua,
that's called
Jalen,
hating on my
I
team.
just don't think so. No, no, I respect CMC. Like I
Hmm.
said, CMC, man's been proven that he could do it all.
Hmm.
He's an amazing athlete. He's
Yeah,
been a receiver. He's been a running back. In fact, I'm pretty sure he has more receiving yards than the entire Falcons receiving core,
probably.
which is kind of crazy seeing as how Drake London was supposed to be one of a prominent star receiver, but that's not someone we need to talk about.
Hmm.
So CMC definitely deserves to be up there in Offensive Player of the Year candidates. I just think since Bijan has better stats with the semi-worst team, seeing as how they're not in the playoffs, I think Bijan just deserves his flowers,
He
especially since he's
does.
also young.
He does, but hear me out though. Like on our team, we got different people who we can spread it around. That's why it's so concentrated on Bijan because when you're one good player on a dead team, obviously you're gonna stand out and your stats are gonna be a lot better than a good player who also has other good players on their team. So I feel like we can't really compare that because the teams are the same. But I see what you're saying though, and he definitely deserves his credit.
I just have to agree. It's just it's a bunch going on with the Falcons organization, and honestly, until we see future in development,
They have no future
I don't
until
trust
they
no one but
rework their
Bijan.
whole yeah. Mm-mm. But okay, let's jump in. Even though the Falcons are dead, let's talk about teams that died this year. The fall offs. The
Yeah.
Eagles. I'm sorry. People they be like birds flap their wings or whatever y'all be saying from Philly. I don't know what y'all say, but no, I'm sorry. The wings are tied. They're clipped. It's over. I mean, I don't see. I never really liked Jalen Hurts in the first place, me personally. Did they win last year and I wanted them to win? Yes. But this year, just watching them every week on the red zone, seeing their chemistry on the field, I just it wasn't the same to me. And I saw the fall off, but what I did not predict was this game this weekend. So I don't know. You could talk on that if you want.
I will forever say that Jalen Hurts is not a top 5 quarterback. I will forever
Ooh,
say
that's a
that.
hot take.
Nope, I think it's real. Kevin Patullo ruined the Eagles' offense, and especially with the whole AJ Brown scandal going on, with how he felt about the team,
Hmm.
it's definitely telling that this team was going downhill. Now, yeah, they fired Kevin Patullo, and I think not confirmed, AJ Brown might leave, but
He should.
it takes a lot to build a team back up from a Super Bowl winning team, especially losing to an injured team, full
Yeah.
healthy. Kevin Patullo running 4-man deep in the end zone is kind of crazy to me. So it needed to happen. They needed to break down, but I just don't see them coming back up.
Hmm.
I don't. Especially like I don't believe Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. I will say that on and on again. I take a lot of quarterbacks before I take Jalen Hurts.
Do you think he's better than Brock?
You think it's better than Brock Purdy?
Do you?
I think they're kind of like on the same boat.
Because you know what? As much as I love my team, and as much as I believe in Brock and the things that he did for us in 2023, you know what I mean? And he came back from injury, and well, I get it, but like I saw him play in the intersect. He literally our defense was the only reason why we won that game against the Eagles, which is tragic because the Eagles, like we said, fell off. So the fact that our defense was literally on the field 65% of the game because every time we got the ball back, Brock would throw an interception. It was just like I couldn't, yo, and we was holding on by like the skin of our teeth, and I felt like he was not playing like how I know he can play, and therefore like having to compare him to somebody that's like you said, not really a top 5 quarterback, somebody that I never really truly believed in. I feel like it hurts me to have to compare my guy Brock to Jalen, but like they were kind of playing similar, and it really just came down to defense.
I agree. Like Brock Purdy, we see flashes of him, and some of these flashes are.
Mhm.
We cannot underline the fact that his athleticism is amazing, yes, but
Yeah.
it's not on par as the other elite quarterback athletes. He
Yeah.
is known for having a noodle arm, and that can definitely deteriorate a quarterback's play field. That's why I'm like I can't choose between him and Jalen because they're kind of like on the same wavelength there of I wouldn't want to really pick either of them, but it's that's just the sad truth. Like, and I think I would probably pick Brock because he's probably easier to develop around,
Hmm.
especially seeing how the Eagles' offense is now. Especially they have like two wide receiver ones and they still fail to do something with it. Um, yeah, that's a lot to think about.
So let's bring up the conversation. Let's bring in Mac Jones. He was the reason why we are even here in the playoffs. Well, he carried when nobody thought he could. Honestly, like I said, it's my team, and I didn't even know the capabilities of Mac Jones. And mind you, like Brock is starting. He's never really been out like that for before. And he's been carrying the team. So Mac doesn't really get a chance to really like lock in and play. He doesn't really have the chance for fame. And yet he got on that field and he was playing. He was injured too, and he was still playing significantly better than a lot of other quarterbacks that were healthy. And his chemistry with the team, even though they don't play, that's a big problem that when you bring in a backup quarterback, their chemistry with the team is usually not the same. And that's why they start to fail. But the chemistry didn't really falter. I mean, the whole team is injured. Our team's always injured, but like Mac Jones, you cannot deny that if he had some good shaping and cultivating, he can be somebody's really good quarterback. Which is why I think that he's probably going to be on the market this coming draft. I feel like somebody's going to take him because they need him. And we're not getting rid of Brock. I feel like the administration, they're just not going to do that, bro. If you ask me, do I think it's a hot take to get rid of Brock and then try to cultivate around Mac Jones? I don't really know. I don't know how our team is going to look after that, but
I think that's extremely high, especially seeing as how Brock Purdy took you out to a bowl. Only really lost because one, he was injured. So I think I think that's kind of crazy to say. Like, granted, Mac Jones, yeah, he had a little bit of rejuvenation there, but it's not enough to go on. Especially seeing as how he did have help. We cannot underline the fact that CMC was not there.
that's where he carried. That's why most of his yardage really, literally came from because they was running the ball because Mac Jones he's not the most consistent guy. I mean, neither is Brock, but like I mean, like I said, if Mac Jones had a good trainer and a good coordinator and everything, and they was running the right plays that are catered around him and his team, man, if they trade him off to somebody else, man, Mac Jones can really lock in. Like I believe in me personally,
Yeah,
I believe in him
yeah, I could see him starting.
for sure.
Maybe the Vikings will call him up. Who
They
knows?
the Vikings I can't lie, after they lost Sam, they was much better with Sam, significantly better with Sam. Um,
Just
man,
think,
I don't.
Sam brought two teams to a 14-3 season.
Okay, see, all right, you and this Sam Darnold glaze, I can't. But next, teams that also fell off, the Colts
Yeah,
because
the swallow here. The
you're
Colts.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
Indiana Jones. I had so much belief in him.
I know you did.
So much. I remember telling you, I was like, I bet he's gonna come back. I bet this team is gonna
Hmm.
go right strolling back in the playoffs just to get eliminated.
Yeah,
Just to get like, and it's sad because injuries are a big part of the game, and that's just
yeah.
it's a tough pill to swallow. But the Colts were still supposed to be somewhat good, and they just failed to meet
They
standards.
had good defense. I really truly don't know what happened. I was gonna try to blame their decline on Daniel Jones' injury, but even you brought up the point. You was like, nah, because what was your point? Say your point.
It was the point that Jonathan Taylor, that man was having a phenomenal season. I'm pretty sure he's the second leader for rushing yards right now. They traded for a better defensive core. They traded for Sauce Gardner on the trade deadline, and their team was already really good. So trading for Sauce Gardner, a prolific cornerback, was
Hmm.
supposed to be a really good jump up to the defense, but literally ever since he joined, they lost.
That's the risk about trading people because it's like, man, when you open up in the middle of the season and you basically try and state the worth of your team on, oh, we're gonna gain XYZ. That's the risk that you take, man. If they don't show up the way that they're supposed to, your team doesn't follow the projections that you had. So I mean that's really what happened with them. That was really sad because I used to have a lot of bets on them. I used to have a lot of like faith in, like you said, Indiana Jones, but I don't know. But you know somebody who I never believed in, Baker Mayfield. Never believed in him. I'm sorry. I was shocked in the beginning when everybody had him in the MVP conversation. When he was playing really good. I was shocked though. I mean, I never saw it coming. But when he started to act like how I know he's known to act, I wasn't shocked. So he fell off, but I mean that's not something I was shocked about.
I was. I was really shocked. In
I
fact,
wasn't.
I
I
was
didn't care.
crazed because, granted, I did know he was from the NFC South, which the NFC South is notorious for being a horrible division. But it's like it's kind of crazy because when they were playing good teams, they were playing well. And mind you, Baker's wide receiver core was gone. No Mike Evans, no
Bro
Chris.
was carrying it on his back.
They
Yeah.
had a rookie as wide receiver one that was supposed to be wide receiver three. And granted, he was playing amazing, but it's still like it's like you don't expect this out of a team that was supposed to be on a decline. What
Yeah.
I find crazy is they just couldn't find that get back ever since they lost that one game. I think it was against the Eagles. It
Mm-hmm.
just they couldn't get it back. They couldn't get their spark back, and it's so sad to see that Baker Mayfield, a once MVP candidate, is now gone from the playoffs.
I mean, I feel like the Bucks whole team, like I feel like the Bucks has a high standard in history to live up to, and Baker Mayfield was never gonna live up to that. Me personally, I just feel like I never saw it coming. Like that legacy that was left, obviously by one of the goats. I feel like Baker Mayfield had no chance of living up to that, and even though he was playing really good, like just the pinnacle of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it just wasn't Baker Mayfield who's gonna bring him back there. And I feel like, do you think that they should trade him? Because me personally, I feel like you could find somebody better.
I honestly don't know what the Buccaneers should do. I love Baker Mayfield and I want to see him succeed, but
I don't.
it's 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 the truth about it all is that the defense is starting to decline. That was showing. The
Yeah.
offensive line is getting the not the offensive line. The offensive line is actually fairly good. It's the wide receiver core. Mike Evans, guaranteed Hall of Famer, no doubt, but he's old. Chris Godwin, I think he's reaching 30s. I'm pretty sure if not, he's over 30 already.
Probably.
Before, that was an amazing wide receiver core to go to, but not these. You know what happens when wide receivers get old? They get slower, and it's hard to win.
29. He's pushing 30.
Yeah, see? So it's like, what would you do? Are you gonna go all in on Baker Mayfield and try to build a team around him, or do you just want to start rebuilding now?
That's something for them to think about, y'all. Because that's not my team, and I don't know. But we gotta touch on the Chiefs. They fell off, but I feel like I don't want to talk about how they fell off because we just did. I want to talk about, do you think that they can get it back? That's what I want to talk about.
I don't want them to get it back.
Right. I feel like I feel like their time is over. Their reign is over.
Travis Kelce, I'm pretty sure he's retiring.
He needs to. I saw some entries on that. He said that he wasn't planning on retiring yet, but he said he definitely was looking for other avenues, and I don't know, but that sounds like cold talk to me that it's over. And without Travis and Travis and Patrick connection, bro, it's not happening, bro.
If he stays another year, I can see it. If he stays one more year, I can see Patrick Mahomes being angry enough to push in at least a Super Bowl winning season. But after that, I think Andy Reid and Travis Kelce are gone. And with that, that's an entire team to rejuvenate.
Yeah, and then a lot of their players are going free agent. So
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know if they can pull it back. Like you said, I don't really want them to. So
No, not at all. Tired of the rain.
that's a big change from last year. So I guess we can go into that. Anything else from last year that really shocked you that,
Changes from last year, man. The Packers.
Okay, can I just say, I never liked Jordan Love. I didn't believe it. I didn't like him. I never liked him, yo. I think it was early in the season when he gave up the win to, who did he give up the win to? It was probably one of the easiest teams in the league at the time, and he gave up the win last minute, and from then on, he was blacklisted for me. He was blacklisted, and I didn't like him. It was over. I feel like,
To
Last
me,
year though, they was a contender.
they they were supposed to be the one seed. Everyone thought they were going to be the best team in the league
Mm-hmm.
with the addition of Micah Parsons, which,
Yeah,
hey, that's Micah Parsons. That
I
man's
forgot to
scary.
mention him too, but he needs his flowers.
He on the Cowboys, man was getting 2v1 every game. Like if you watch tape, he's getting holed every play. They just don't call it on him because
Mm-hmm.
he's Micah Parsons. It's he's a crazy man. So everyone thought the Packers are gonna win, and then the Packers did what the Packers do. 9-7-1, a tie against the worst defense in the league. Like,
What can I
that's
say though?
not insane. Jordan Love, I will admit, I've never thought he was an elite quarterback. I thought he was a good one. I thought he was a decent one, but never an elite quarterback. He just throws balls that don't need to be thrown.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the playoffs against the 49ers, it was your team, he chucked that ball down the middle for no reason. I was like, what did he do? He threw a
And
straight
expected it
pick.
not to get intercepted. Like,
He threw a pick to Dre Greenlaw. And I was like, why did he do that?
my guy Greenlaw, fundamental on our defense, by the way. But just go ahead.
He's gone now. He's on the Broncos.
Unfortunately, but he was fundamental.
But I was like, what is he doing? And ever since, I've always said this about him. He has an arm. It's just he doesn't have the mind to like, he doesn't know what to choose with that arm. He doesn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has the talent, he just doesn't know how to execute with it. And I don't know. That's why I can never put my trust in him. And on paper, the Packers are definitely one of the best teams in the NFC. You have Josh Jacobs, a very feared running back who played horrible. A really good O-line. It's not abysmal. It's actually really good. Tucker Kraft, who I get was injured, but he was playing like a top 5 tight end. And granted, yeah, you have problems with the wide receiver core, but you have 2 wide receivers that are fairly new and are playing their absolute hardest as rookies, and they're doing pretty good. So it all comes to Matt LaFleur. How do you have such a great team on paper and fail
And
to
you
do
don't
something?
know how to utilize it.
Your defense, amazing. Your offense, pretty good. So who is there to blame? The coach.
Gotta be the plays, because I just feel like, because there's no reason. Listen, I'm looking at they track record right now, right, over the past couple weeks, right, and they've been on a losing streak since the Broncos. Which Broncos is valid. Okay, they defense, right, that's valid. But then they lost to the Bears, right? Then they lost to the Ravens. Then they lost to the Bears again. Then they lost to the Vikings. 3 points. Jordan Love didn't score once. 3 points to the Vikings. And then last week, we're gonna talk about that game. Caleb Williams. Oh my gosh, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get there. But I'm looking at their track record and I'm like, there's no reason why you should be losing like this. It had to have been the plays that were called, because the execution should have been fine. There's nothing stopping this team from actually being great except coaching. So I don't know about it, but that's definitely a big thing.
It's just sad.
Changing management really can change your whole team, man, because that's
It
crazy.
really can. It
The
really can.
whole
I think it
NFC
needs to
East,
happen.
yo.
I think it needs to happen. Oh my God.
You
I don't-
wanted to bring it up, the NFC East. So let's shift into the NFC East. You wanted to bring that up. So Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. Talk about it.
Like, it's a lot to take in. One of the most dangerous divisions in the league just turned pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
Giants, you drafted a first-round pick quarterback. You had Cam Scatterboot, who everyone if you watch college ball, you know he was a player. Commanders, what happened? Y'all were just at the championship. You were going against the Eagles. Who
Well, we know
granted
what
got
happened with the
glorified.
Commanders. Jaden Daniels got cooked.
Yeah,
whole
but
team
even
went
then,
up.
when he came back, the team looked horrible.
It was not the same. It was the same thing that happened
And
with
then
with Lamar.
Exactly. And then look at the Cowboys. They acquired two amazing superstars this
Hmm.
season, George Pickens and Quinnen Williams. And guess what? They did nothing.
Man, honestly, the Cowboys, the Alice Cowboys, that's literally all it is because it's really their defense, yo. The fact that you're letting people like the Arizona Cardinals come back and score 41, like I can't, yo. Something about it is just like they're giving up easy wins, and that's probably the reason why they're not in the playoffs. But that whole division is cooked. I remember the Giants, shoot, I believed in Jackson Dart, even though he was a rookie, and then, well, that's what happened with him. Giants haven't been
Thank you.
good for years, so I don't even want to talk about that for real. But Commanders, I really do. That's the team that I have a soft spot for. I believe in the Commanders. I really truly do. I want them to bring it back. The NFC North, you want to talk about real quick. Um, Bears talked about that. Packers talked about that. We'll talk about that in a second. The Vikings, talked about that. The Lions, though, for me, Jared Goff, um, like we said, expecting them to be in the playoffs. Don't really know what's really going on. Their whole division, their PCT is just it's really bad. It's just really bad. The whole North is just really bad.
I think we all know what happened with the Lions, and
Hmm.
it's just hard to like swallow it. It's the fact that they lost two head coaches practically, in Ben Johnson and in Aaron Glenn. They had an amazing defense. They had an amazing offense, and they were about to do something with it. They made the conference championship. They
Hmm.
made it back into the playoffs after years of being in a drought. They finally
Hmm.
got Dan Cable. They revived the entire team. It's just with the losses of those two, it's like it seemed like Dan Cable had all that work on his back again, and it just crumbled. It just hurt. And that team is another team that's amazing on paper. You have Brian Branch, one of the top safeties in the league. You have Jake Campbell, who is starting to do really good as a middle linebacker. He's getting his footing. You
Yeah.
have an amazing offense. Jamison Williams. You have Amon St. Brown, who's a guaranteed top five wide receiver. You have Jameer Gibbs, who's a guaranteed top five running back. Now, guaranteed, you have Jared Goff, who is like top top 15, maybe top 10. But it's still a team that you could take to a Super Bowl, and you went 8-9.
Man, like I said, the whole NFL is suffering from management changes, developmental changes, because I feel like, listen, I don't even know, but let's get into the games specifically from this week. We're gonna wrap all of this up in one big bow because there's so many different details. Let's talk about Josh Allen, who finally kicked it into gear. My coach. Now, granted, people say, okay, Josh Allen ain't never led nobody to no Super Bowl. You can't talk about him. Same thing they say about Sam Darnold. They be like, listen, that's not valid. You can't compare him to somebody who brought their team to the Super Bowl. Like, and I get that. I get that. But the way he kicked in the gear, right, against a late riser team too, Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars, their whole team pulled it together out of who knows where. And then, granted, did he sell at the end? And then, as soon as they got the ball back, because the Bills let them score, they let them score so they can get the ball back. I mean, the Jaguars let the Bills score so they can get the ball back. And then, as soon as Trevor Lawrence got out there, I watched it on the TV. He talked to his coach. He patted him on the helmet, and then he got out there. And then the first down threw an interception. It was terrible. It was terrible. And then the game was over. But
Josh Allen, my MVP from last year, when
yes.
everyone thought Lamar Jackson should have been it. I vouched his name from the mountaintops. I was
Me too.
screaming.
My dad is a hater for Josh Allen. He believes that Lamar should have got it. And granted, did Lamar recover his own fumble? Yes. Was his yardage crazy? Yes. Was his everything crazy? Yes. But Josh Allen, his run game, he carried the Bills on his back. The amount of rushing touchdowns the guy had, it was just Josh Allen is him. And finally, we got to see that again. And I honestly, I'm happy because I got it.
Josh Allen MVP back.
That's my goal, chat. Josh Allen. I'm sorry. I love Lamar, but Josh Allen earned his spot. He
with
did.
with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. That was just phenomenal football. In a division
Hmm.
right now that was definitely hard to win in. You have one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen in the Houston Texans. You have the Colts that were on the uprise that just went on the decline. And when they saw that, they took action. They they played they did what they had to do. Trevor
Right.
Lawrence, he finally locked into gear. The defense, it actually looked what we were promised on paper, and it was looking amazing. And then the playoff game, where it was definitely a good playoff game, Trevor Lawrence took a step back and he threw a pick straight into two-man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
We saw flashes of old Trevor Lawrence there, the Trevor Lawrence that we all doubted, the Trevor Lawrence that we knew wouldn't be able to bring the Jaguars to a Super Bowl. So it just makes you wonder, should Trevor Lawrence stay? Should they move on from him? I think they need to keep him.
I
I
was gonna say,
think,
yeah, no, don't leave him after what he did, please. And that's the. I feel like when they first drafted Trevor Lawrence, that this is what they wanted. It just took him so long to get here, but I feel like this small moment, this he can take this into next season. I feel like they can work off of him because the actual team is good. He just threw an interception, which at the most crucial time, which cannot be. We can't have that. But once they work on that and they build their whole team to cater to Trevor Lawrence and his strengths and weaknesses, yo, they have a chance. But
let's not forget that Liam Cohen, Jaguars coach,
yep.
new one from the Buccaneers. It was OC. He's really good. We've seen what he can do. But the only thing is that Brian Thomas Jr., LSU wide receiver, amazing rookie season, it just fell off. And we all were scared. He started dropping balls. We thought we never knew he had confidence issues until now. We thought he was doing really good. Now, granted, with the loss of Kyron Lacey, may God rest his soul, it could definitely be hard on him, but we need him back. And Trevor Lawrence needs him back. To rely on, I think it was, I can't even name his wide receivers, to be honest with you. It's kind of crazy that you were supposed to be wide receiver one and then you got knocked down. Travis Hunter was there. He got drafted. They traded up for him, mind you. And as good as he was, he got injured. So it's not, you can't be 100% on him. You don't know what happened to him. And we also don't know if he's going to keep being a two-way player. It's very hard to play two-way in the NFL, especially with how vigorous the NFL is.
Right.
So if he's going to pick a side, which I still think he's not, I think he has the confidence and the gears to do both. It's going to be hard for Trevor Lawrence to have that wide receiver group that he needs. Yes, Travis Etienne, a decent running back, is good, but decent doesn't get you far.
I think that's the theme for the entire episode. Decent don't get you far, chat. Only two things that we didn't talk about was the Rams and the Panthers game. There's not much to say on that. The fact that the Rams won. So a win is a win. But the fact that you let the Panthers come back and not even come back the whole game, they was cooking and they scored 31 points on you. That's tragic. But
it was very close.
They won. So we're going to move on from that. Patriots and the Chargers. Chargers O-line is terrible, as we said. Their offense is really bad. And like we said, Drake
Justin Herbert, please give him help. I know the O-line was injured, but I know this man can do something if he just gets some help.
So, yeah.
I feel like we can especially talk about the Packers and the Bears playoff game.
Oh, we got to do a second. We got to do a part 2 to this. We got to do a part 2 because I can't.
We have to.
We'll wrap this. Part 2, we'll do the bracket and we'll do the discussion on the fourth quarter. But thank you guys for listening. Have a good one, guys. And remember, everything you need is in your DM.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Part 2 of the Wildcard Weekend. Jeremiah, we're back. Say what's up.
Thank you. I am back.
So we're gonna this will probably all be in the same episode now that I think about it. But yes, chat, we're back. So we're gonna just jump in. We're gonna do each game. I guess we'll break it down. Where do you want to start?
I think we should start at the Packers and Bears game.
Okay. I mean, notes.
That game was a playoff game for sure. It definitely showed what we expect out of a wild card weekend. The Packers, the 7th seed Packers, absolutely just going away with it, 21-3 in the first half. We all thought Jordan Love finally found his stride, finally got the team together. The defense was looking phenomenal, and then and the Bears defense looked so bad. It looked so bad, and then And then the fourth quarter happened. 30,
31 points
25 whole
in
points
total.
scored in one quarter. One quarter.
3 touchdowns, 1 quarter. Back to back.
Consecutive, no stops. And the defense went from absolutely abysmal to what we expected of the Bears all season.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you think, it's like, who caused that loss? Like, how did the Packers lose such a detrimental lead?
I want it to be known, by the way, that it's not that Jordan Love did bad. He threw 323 yards.
And for, like,
It's just Caleb Williams came out of nowhere, threw 361 yards in the fourth quarter.
like, what did they put in that halftime smoothie?
And Caleb threw 2 interceptions the whole game. Jordan didn't throw one. I just don't know what happened.
Nope.
He kicked in the gear. I don't know what happened.
I- And like we were saying earlier about the Packers, the
Mm-hmm.
team on paper looks like the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You have a young quarterback, you have a decent wide receiver core, you have a top 5 tight end, you have a pretty good O-line. Now I get Zach Tom was injured during this playoff game,
Mm-hmm.
but you had 21-3 in the first half. You had a massive leads that were considered unbeatable, and honestly has only really been proven to be beaten by like twice, which obviously one time 28-3, the GOAT, greatest of all time, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And then most recent one I think I can remember is the Indianapolis Colts losing to Minnesota 33-3, and that game
Mm-hmm.
was what, 36-3, 33? Yeah. It just makes you think, it's like, how do you lose such a detrimental game to your progress? And I would love to blame Matt LaFleur here, especially since, that fourth quarter was bad. You let the Bears come back at home.
Right.
You let them get stride. But to be completely honest with you, I think we have to blame the kicker here. The special teams.
Two
Special teams.
missed kicks.
Not just 2, 3.
3.
That's 9 points. That
Well,
that
no, one of
9
the kicks he missed was the extra point.
No, they missed one before halftime. They
Mhm.
missed one in the third quarter.
And then they
And
missed
then
the extra point,
one-
and then yup.
So it's like you had all opportunity.
And that would have got them the game.
It definitely
For the
would have.
record.
9 points ahead. That would have put them up, and they lost. Now Packers have had a notorious history for losing because of special teams. They lost in the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers against the 49ers against a blocked punt. So
Mhm.
crazy. And it really makes you think, it's like, how long are they going to go getting their playoff games sold by special teams?
Honestly, I feel like that's why I think, I always say this when I talk about football recreationally because I always said that if I had a brother, he'd be playing football, right? And that's what our family always say. And my mama was like, I'm not sending my son out there to get a concussion and da 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 da. He could be the kicker. That's easy. And I said, well, you know what? The thing about being the kicker is you have one job and all eyes are on you. And if you mess it up, you're done. You're done. And I wouldn't be surprised if they let him go after this season because how are you're sacrificing crucial points at a crucial turning point in the game, and not to mention how important this win was for the Bears and their rivalry and the whole team spirit. They about to carry this into next week, if I'm being honest, and we could talk about that when we get into the bracket. But that game was fundamental when it came to the whole playoff dynamic and who's doing what and what's going on where. So the fact that the Bears surprisingly won that game, because nobody, even if you bet on the Bears from the beginning, after the first, second, and third quarter, you pretty much gave up hope. But Caleb Williams, the comeback kid, out of nowhere, because I think they said he actually just got the record for the most cumulative games coming back in the fourth quarter, which is crazy. So I don't know. I'm looking at the stats and the fact that everything is pretty much even. Like total yards, Green Bay 421. The Bears 445. Passing yards 322 for the Packers, 352 for the Bears. Like it's pretty much not that big of a difference, and all of this happened in the fourth quarter. What Green Bay did in 4 quarters, Caleb did one. I don't know. I don't know.
And just for the record, let's make it notoriously known that Caleb didn't just do this once now in the playoffs. He did this again in the regular season earlier when they went against the Packers for a higher chance at the divisional spot, and they were down 16 to what, 6 or 3?
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears beat them again. So like I said earlier with like Matt LaFleur, it makes you really think, how do you choke such big leads at such a detrimental time, and now you just did it in the playoffs? That's the worst time to lose, especially against a divisional rival. Come on, man. It's sad.
I don't know, but I do want to point out though that man, out of 7 penalties that Green Bay got, they gave up 65 yards. So like out of the penalties, out of the sacks, they both only had 1 sack, right? The third down conversions for both teams was terrible. Green Bay was 6 out of 15. The Bears was 10 out of 19. That's 50%. Green Bay had opportunity. Usually their third down conversions are pretty good. But penalties on top of the conversion rates, and they did all their fourth down conversions. They made 3 out of 3 for that. But when you're giving up yardage, man, and now you have to punt the ball back, it's just like, I don't know, because the Bears punted no times, and then Green Bay punted 4. So when we're looking at that, it's like as much as I want to blame the kicker, like you said, it has to be the whole team, because there's no way that you should have let this happen in a playoff game, the Wildcard Weekend that is crucial. There's no reason that you should be making these mistakes.
Exactly, which I feel it's very easy to put your blame onto one person, but you have to really look at everyone in this aspect. The defense got shut out in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Now, I'm not going to put it all on Jordan Love, too, because obviously, like, you were having a phenomenal game past the second half, but what happened past the first half? But what happened in the second half? We only scored 6 points. In football, it's notoriously known to not stop putting the gas on the pedal. Come on. Push
Right.
it.
I always say, chat, it's not over till it's over. Like people say that in basketball, but in football, it really is not over. When you see that 2 minute warning, it still is not over. Like whatever it, unless you are shut out, down 3 touchdowns or whatever, like it's all possible. You know what I'm saying? And Caleb Williams shows that time and time again. So I don't know. What do you want to see from the Bears next week?
As a divisional rival to the Rams, and as I really don't want to see them in the NFC Championship, I do want the Bears to win, as I think they are underdogs, even though they are the 2 seed. But that's just my own greed. I do hope I see a better all-around performance from the Bears, because it does look like the first half Bears are very scary. And the thing about the Rams is that they will abuse that. They will put up points. So I guess we just gotta have to see how that goes. Hopefully the Bears can get their stride in the first half and understand that the Rams will just can't take pity points on the Rams.
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. So let's move into the next game that I really want to talk about. People have been forced into retirement. The game was so bad that people had to retire. Black and yellow. The Steelers. Old man Aaron Rodgers. He had to hang it up. And so did they coach, because it just, what happened, man? Like, and it's crazy because I didn't even pick a side for this game. I was going into it and I was like, Texans defense, yeah, but the Steelers, I'm expecting them to show up some way, you know what I mean? And I definitely did not expect them to let it go like that, the way that they did. The interception, that was tragic. And you know that they had to capitalize off of that. And so I don't know. I'll go after you. I'll give you my notes in a second, but you go ahead.
Honestly, I knew how this game was gonna go. I
You knew he
as
was
much
gonna throw an interception and sell the whole game.
I listen, as much as I love Aaron Rodgers, right? I just knew the offense wasn't gonna get it done. Especially against the best defense in the league. No way. Now I knew both offenses were gonna do horrible. Like,
Right. Who expected the Texans to score 30 points?
and to be fair, they didn't even really score 30 points on their own because remember, 23 points came from the fourth quarter, and one of those points were a last minute interception. So it's really like both offenses were playing bad. They were playing really bad. In fact, I think there was 4 snaps consecutively where CJ Stroud fumbled the ball from the center, which is like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, hey man, it's a playoff game, get it together. But it doesn't matter when you're playing against one of the oldest teams in the league. And granted, their defense is pretty good, yeah, but pretty good is not gonna beat really good, which is the Houston Texans, and that honestly was just a pity game. I it's just sad to see the goats go away like that. Aaron Rodgers, prolific, a Hall
Well,
of
I don't
Fame.
know about goats. I don't know about that.
You
But
don't you don't think Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback?
mm, what years are we looking at for prime time?
Well, obviously we're gonna look at his best years in the Green Bay Packers, especially his second year where he won
Okay.
the Bowl. And then continue to win 4 more MVPs. In fact, I think he's one of the only players who won back-to-back MVP.
hmm
So,
I
I
just don't
think
know
he
if goat
is
is the word I would use
okay.
personally.
Okay, I see what you mean there, but in the way I look at the aspects of goats, I could see that there could be many goats in like one conversation because remember, not everyone is especially defined in a character skill set. Like, would I call Tom Brady the goat as the scrambling quarterback? No, not at all. But would I think of like maybe Mike Vick, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson, maybe
Yeah.
even not Kyler Murray, but those guys, yeah, definitely. One of the oldest, Dante Culpepper, like he was running. Like you, you could make an argument for different type of goats. Like Aaron Rodgers, for instance, I think he had an arm for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he had an amazing arm. He was a very analytical person. He barely in any interceptions, and honestly, majority of the interceptions kind of look like the other team's fault. Not this one, but but
I
in his
just think I just think that not to cut you off. I just because I think, like I said, we can't deny his past achievements. Definitely, I just think that the last three, wait, let me see, 2026, 3 or 4 years, it's pretty bad, yo. It's pretty bad between the Jets and the Steelers. It's pretty bad. The Steelers was better than the Jets when he was on it, which I don't know how that worked, but granted, that whole team is much better than the players on that team, but it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, and like you said, the highlight was in the Packers, and it definitely did what it needed to do. It gets the recognition that it gets, and he has, like you said, he has his MVPs, he has it all. But I don't know if GOAT is what I would, nah, because like we say, people say Tom Brady GOAT, like the top, like number one greatest of all time, right?
greatest.
And even up until his retirement, and when he came out of retirement and went back into retirement, right? He,
Just over the Super Bowl, mind you.
hey,
In
and
Florida.
despite all, like even all that, his achievement, even though he got old, his performance didn't decrease as significantly as Aaron Rodgers did. And I feel like, um, that's something that if we're gonna talk about GOAT, like that's something that you kind of need to talk about. But not for sure though. He definitely gets his flowers for sure. I just was not expecting this. Like that's sad, yo. Didn't score once. Um, just 2 field goals, man.
Field goals.
That's just depressing, yo. Do you want to talk about the coach going into retirement? He had
Mike,
to hang it up
wow, it's
because for like 20 years he's been the head coach, if longer than that.
he he was in there when Big Ben was there. Another Hall of Fame quarterback. He was there when they had the three Bs: Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Ben Roethlisberger. It's like you had so much success in your career. You had a Super Bowl. You've done so much already. It's just sad to see him go this way. Like
Hmm.
whole 10-7 seasons. It's it's like ever since he lost that trio, he's just always been in the middle of the pack. He could never find it. And every time he gets in the playoffs, it's a first round exit. I remember last year, or no, a couple years ago, I think 2022, they were at 12-5. Everyone thought the Steelers were doing really good. And then they go against the Cleveland Browns, who just finally got an uprising behind Baker Mayfield. And then they lost, which was like, what? How do you lose to the Browns like that?
I forgot about that game, if I'm being honest.
It,
Ugh.
it's so sad because the Steelers always have playoff aspirations, but it's like it never happens. So honestly, I just think Mike Tomlin finally thought, man, I'm just like I'm having way too many 10-7 seasons, way too many first round exits. I think it's time to put up the cap. And honestly, I I, I have to agree with him. I think it's
So
time to
you
put
think that they're gonna find another coach that's gonna be better than Mike?
better than Mike recently. No, not with the current coaching market. But do I think the Steelers will come back in maybe 3 to 5 years in tops? Yeah,
3 to 5 years, Chad.
I'll give it 3 to 5 years. I'll give it 3 to 5 years.
That's a long time for losing, but hey, it takes time to rebuild a team. So,
Especially since they're one of the oldest. So
their history is long. Um. All right. Um. The Patriots and the Chargers. Let's get in depth because last time, I mean, like I said, there's not much to say. The Chargers it's pretty bad. I don't even know how they really made it to the playoffs. Um. But let's talk about it.
you see, I'm not a believer in Justin Herbert. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's
Me
a top 10
either.
quarterback. I call him if man too, like everyone else does,
If
because he's built on a bunch of hypotheticals. But I will say, when he had that team, the first 3 weeks were very scary.
hmm
They looked like Super Bowl contenders. Now they have a new coach who is the brother of Jim Harbaugh, if I remember it. I think his name is John. And it's like he was once an NCAA championship winner with the Michigan Wolverines. Even though they did have cheating scandal, they still won. And now he's on the Chargers, which he just brought this team back from way under. This team was looked at as mediocre ever since Philip Rivers was there. And now they made a playoff game, which for once people actually thought they were going to win because the Patriots had a pancake easy schedule. And people were like, hey, how are they going to lose to the Patriots? We know how they lost to the Patriots.
Okay, question. Did you expect the Patriots to make 16 points or you expect them to make more than that?
I did expect more than that. I thought it was going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah, me too. I
But
felt like when I took this game and I took the Patriots, right? I was expecting for them to win because I think the spread, I forget what the spread was, but I was expecting them to cover the spread only because of, like I said, it was going to be a high scoring game. I was not expecting them to win because the Chargers didn't score a touchdown. Not something that I saw coming. Even the Chargers, like, despite them having a couple surprising losses in the regular season, I kind of like when they made it to the playoffs, I was expecting them to lock in because, like, I feel like a lot of teams really like you're not gonna go out and ball out the entire regular season. That's what you save for the playoffs for. And so I was expecting to see, okay, let's see the magic, that we had saw in, like you said, the first couple weeks. But and I really did think that because defense isn't great on both sides. I feel like I was expecting at least 20s and 30s, but I felt like the Patriots did not perform as well as I thought they was going to perform against the broken Chargers, which is kind of like not that their team itself is broken, but like their chemistry is broken. And I feel like because there were so many like incompletes, there was so many just like missed opportunities from that game that I was seeing, and it just didn't seem like they was working very well together. And so I feel like they should have definitely capitalized off that more, especially because of the way that we've seen them play. But like you said though, I feel like a lot of times we forget that they had a really easy schedule. So yes, it's good to play how you're supposed to play at all times. You know what I mean? You're not going to take it easy on no team, but it's easy to score 30, 40 points and look really great against a team whose record is less than 50, less than 500. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to a team that's actually decent, not saying that the Chargers is the best team in the world, but once you perform against a team that actually can pose you a challenge, how you perform right there, how you show up right there in that moment shows a lot about your team. And the fact that they can only score 16 points on the Chargers, and that fact that they was held to 16 points by the Chargers defense, it really does make me question where I want to put them in the bracket next week. When we do talk about the bracket, it makes me question like how they're going to perform against teams that actually have potential. Like when they go against the number one defense Texans, if they couldn't score more than 16 points on the Chargers, how are they going to win against the Texans? That's what I'm kind of thinking about. But we can talk about that with the bracket. But I'm gonna let you go on your thoughts for the game.
I have to completely agree with you on the bracket, so let's just go a little bit forward on that. I just wanted to make it very clear. You did call the Chargers a broken team. I kind of agree with that, especially with the chemistry. But the entire team is hurt.
I mean, honestly, okay, I understand injuries, but like I always bring up my point. My team is probably one of the most always consistent injured teams. We one of our not literally our wide receiver one has not played this entire season. Last year, our running back and wide receiver, because you know he does both. CMC is him, but he didn't play all year last year. We lost George Kittle again. We lose our defense, our number ones. Like it's just like we don't you don't see us out here making excuses on oh we lost to the Cardinals because we was injured. Da 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 da. Like you know what I'm saying. You don't see us doing that. So I feel like while the Chargers are injured, it shouldn't have been that bad. It
I
shouldn't have been that bad.
I feel like we look at injuries and we look at high key players and we think of number ones of the team, but we don't realize that a lot of people on the 49ers are actually all well rounded. In fact, a lot of people don't look enough at these stars to realize that they're just superstars in disguise. Like, yeah, I will say, and I definitely will say, it's an accomplishment that your team with so much injuries, because I'm pretty sure you almost had 30 people on IR at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's very hard to come up from that. But your team actually is very well rounded. Your corners, Lenore, he's a phenomenal rookie. He's playing really well in that corner slot, especially with the injuries.
Yeah.
You have
And we needed him.
Ward, and you also have a middle linebacker core now. Friend Warder, yeah, he got out in the final season, in the final game, but you still have this core that has played together a lot. This Chargers team is a really young team. Remember, they drafted Joe Alt.
Valid point.
Last year, Lad McClunky, their wide receiver 2R1, he's young. Quentin Johnson, he might seem old, which I think we all thought he was on the league for a minute, but he's actually pretty young. Justin Herbert, he's also young. So this team has a lot to build on together. The problem was, and the big problem was, is that foundation that they built throughout the entire season was broken down repeatedly, and then in the playoffs, they just didn't have it. They had the worst rated offensive line ever. Ever. Because guess what? There was no starters on that line.
Right.
It was all backups. And granted, yeah, we could put the blame on Justin Herbert, who took 6 sacks that game and lost the football twice. But let's just be aware, he also didn't have his running back one, and he had the most rushing yards in his team.
I don't want to use that as an excuse, but okay.
We could blame that on the wide receivers who, been targeted a bunch and dropped the fall. Keenan Allen, a veteran, what's going on? Targeted 8 times. It gets hard to defend these people, but at the same time, we're looking at the broken Chargers. No offensive line, all backups, all projected at the final ranked of their standing, going against a fully healthy New England Patriots.
And with that, they still got 5 sacks. They third down conversions was 4 out of 11. You know what I mean?
And
Like
so, like,
it's
I think the
still through
Chargers,
an interception. Like
and and that's what I'm saying. The Chargers did phenomenal for what they had, but what they didn't have was a big reason for their loss. They put Drake May on a pedestal. They showed what I thought they could have done. But if they had that offensive line, if they had their running back, if their offense was even just a smidge bit, like a little bit more practice, because we all saw that O line standing. I wish I could. I wish you had the. Do you have the picture of it, literally all of
yes, hold
them
on, I can pull up the
36
picture.
out of 37? It's
Hmm.
kind of crazy having to play a playoff game with an O line that is literally at the bottom of rankings for every single position.
Listen, they left tackle 38 to 38 Austin. Left guard 21 to 36 Zion Jefferson. Johnson, my bad. Um their corner 36 to 36 Bradley Bozeman. Right guard 36 to 37 Makai Becton Sr. And right tackle 35 to 36 Trey Pickens the third.
Like, these are the worst linemen in the league being put in a playoff game against a 13-3 team.
Which
It
makes
really makes
sense
you think.
why he's taking these sacks.
Exactly. And why the offense can't get it moving. It's demoralizing to watch your quarterback get thrown around. So,
Mhm.
honestly, like I believed, I think the Chargers should have won this game. If they were fully healthy, I 100% think the Chargers would have won this game. But the Patriots won, and let's not knock their flowers. Let's not do that. They played great football. They had a running game. They had a passing game. Well,
Mhm.
a little bit, not as much on the running game, but they did something, even though the Chargers had nothing. So I'll just put that into perspective from when we talk about the bracket.
Right. So, okay. Um, okay, only game we didn't talk about last episode was the Rams and the Panthers. And once we get that through, we can do the bracket. So, Rams and the Panthers, what are my notes with that? Like I said in the last episode, there's no reason that the Panthers should have scored 31 points. And the Rams let them do that. Panthers defense is actually pretty decent. But the Rams are the Rams, and I was not expecting that. I feel like I was expecting a low scoring game from both teams, actually, more similar to what I expected with the Texans. But just because on both defense, it's pretty decent. And we know the Rams powerhouse team in general. So recently they have been letting it slip a little bit. But when they lost in the game where they could have been for the number one seed game, because it would have been them and you guys. But well, it happened. But I feel like with the Panthers game, Panthers is a team that I low key root for on the down low. But I just feel like there's no reason that it should have happened like this. And the same thing that I said about the Patriots, the way you perform against teams that aren't really that good or shouldn't have you scoring the way that you're scoring, right? It really does show me a lot about the bracket and what we're gonna see next week. Because if you can let the Panthers score 31 points on you and you can barely win against the Panthers, really, like, what am I gonna see when we have Caleb Williams? So I don't know, like it really does make me start to question because at first I was super sure, like, oh yeah, the Rams is going all the way. And honestly, it was either gonna be the Rams and the Seahawks in the bowl, or, well, honestly, I don't want to blow up my ego and say us, but hey, I hope that we make it to the bowl. But not realistically, it was either gonna be the Rams and the Seahawks, or to me, the Rams and the Bills or the Broncos, but more so the Bills. After the Eagles got eliminated. But I don't know. Like I just feel like it really does make me question like what we're gonna see and if it's gonna be a shocker this week coming up. Because if you can't hold the Panthers and you allow them to score that many points on you, and you're struggling against a team that is not that great, because now what are they, 8-10, something like that. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's how you perform against them, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it all comes down to perspective. I honestly couldn't think the Panthers are as bad as their record says, especially because I do believe they should have been like. I know 9-8 doesn't sound better than 8-9, but to be honest with you, that game against Tampa to win the divisional was actually really scuffed, especially against the refs. That looked insanely Tampa-sided, and honestly, the Panthers have been just inconsistent. But when they do show flashes, they show amazing flashes. So I knew they could have done something. I wanted them to win this game because obviously it's the Rams, divisional rival.
Right.
But honestly, I wanted the Panthers to succeed because I wanted them. I wanted to see Bryce Young in action, and I saw it that game. We saw it that game. That was amazing football played by the Panthers. It just so happens that they're going against the fifth-seeded Rams.
Yeah, and he threw 264 yards, and what did he have? One interception or none? I think he had one.
One. Mm-hmm.
But that was pretty good for him. And then look at his players. Their rushing yards. Chuba, he did pretty good. Bryce had his own rushing yards. That was pretty good. Their receiving yards. I mean, Jalen, he put up 134 yards.
Yep, Jalen
receiving. I'm like, whoa. You know what I mean? So the team did good. That's 31 points. 31 points against other teams that we saw that week would have won. But it just so happens that they're going against the Rams. And like I said, although I expected more for the Rams, I mean, a win is a win. So I don't know.
I just have to agree. It's unfortunate that the Panthers have to go against the Rams, but it just happens when you're in the conference like they are.
Just happens. So let's bring it down. The bracket. Bills and the Broncos. I feel like you got one sentence of explanation, but I just want to see what you think. I don't want to. This is not the well, this and but if, the pros and cons list. Make your prediction, and we'll see if we right next week. But Bills or the Broncos, who's winning?
As much as I am a diehard Seattle Seahawks fan, I'm a ride or die for Josh Allen. Give me the Bills.
So am I.
I'm taking the Bills. As much as I do believe that the Broncos defense is menacing and is elite, that offense is pitiful.
And Josh Allen can easily put up 30 points. So I feel like
exactly.
I see Josh. Okay, Patriots and the Texans. What we seeing?
I told you this last week. I'm taking Houston. That's the best defense in the league.
It's gonna take them to the bowl.
It could. It genuinely could. I believe that. Oh my
gosh. I don't even want to get into it. Me personally, like I said, the whole game just shook me with the Patriots. So I don't know, but I'm gonna have to lean with you towards the Texans. Not because of the defense, but just because I don't see Drake May performing the way that I know that he can. But
against that defense.
Our rival game, yo. I think we already know. I'm taking my team. You taking yours?
I'm obviously taking mine.
Don't get me started on Sam Darnold. Don't get me started.
We didn't need Sam Darnold last time.
Oh my gosh. Last time our defense held y'all to what, 13 points? So I don't want to hear it. Anyway,
CMC to 25.
Oh my gosh. As long as we keep JSN covered and defended, y'all are cooked.
You know that's not possible.
Okay, but I can hope. And then the Rams and the Bears. Why am I low-key trying to take the Bears?
I think we both just want the Bears to win, because then that just means we don't have to go against a divisional rival in the NFC Championship.
Word.
Which the Rams are really good in the championship, sadly.
Their history is
their history record of that championship is really scary. And
I'm seeing. So then, okay, with the bracket, right? If we take the Bears and, well, your team, you're obviously gonna take your team. I'm gonna take mine, right? So you seeing your team in the Super Bowl. I'm seeing mine in the Super Bowl. Texans against Josh Allen, that's a good game. Well, what are you taking for the bowl?
You know what? I've been on this boat for this entire time. I'm staying with the Houston Texans. I do believe defense wins championships, and I think that's what's going to happen here. As much as I love Josh Allen, he is playing injured. As much as I love
Hmm.
Josh Allen, he does not have the receivers.
I was gonna
As
say his team
much
is
as
folding.
I love Josh Allen, the defense is good, but it just isn't as good as the Houston Texans. I'm taking them.
Right
I'm
now,
taking them.
I'm gonna take the Texans with you. Like I said, only because you took my point on what I was gonna say about his receivers. Josh Allen, he can pull through himself. We saw what he did to earn MVP last year. If he got the opportunity, man, he doing it himself. But you cannot do the whole game by yourself. And if his receivers are not on point or not healthy, and they're not, um, they can't win that game. They're gonna put up a good fight, but I feel like they can't.
It's not
But I want
against
to
us.
see how they play against the Broncos, and then we'll have to update. But so far, we seeing the Texans, and we both think our team gonna be in the bowl, which nobody predicted that from week one. Nobody thought that we was gonna be in the bowl, but that any of these teams was gonna be in the bowl. But that's our bracket chat. That's our bracket. Thank you guys for listening. Anything you want to say?
Seattle Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl, and I
Okay,
can't
this is
wait to
where we
see
cut
all
you
when
off.
it happens.
This is where we cut you off. All right, Chad. Thank you guys for listening. We'll come back and see you after next week for the playoffs. And remember, everything you need is in your DNA.